Welcome all you misfits and metalheads to another episode of The Cutting Room Floor. We are the band Cut Like This. I am Thorn Black.
I'm Rose Blood.
And thank you for joining us again as we bring you another wonderful horror movie.
And anime.
And anime. Can't forget that.
Don't forget that.
Today, we're going to be bringing you the South Korean horror movie Alive on Netflix.
Right now. It just came out 2020, I believe. And this movie is a really cool and interesting take on the zombie virus and the total isolation, which I feel like a lot of people would really understand that feeling right now, now that
Especially,
we're all
right?
in this situation where we're all kind of like isolated by a crazy disease. It is a similar fate that our hero Jun-woo finds himself in. He is a gamer and a YouTube streamer, or whatever they call it in the movie, but that general idea of online streaming gamer kid. So he actually doesn't realize it quite at the beginning what's happening, because he's busy about to start his feed and everything, and he's playing games and stuff with his friends, so he actually doesn't realize it. His family is like away on a trip and stuff, and he decided to stay home, and then he soon finds himself in quite the predicament.
Yes, he does. He starts slowly seeing what's going on like the news, and like kind of checking outside his window and like, that's not right.
And it happens it unfolds pretty quickly, as you would imagine it would in a busy city. So he's kind of got the bird's eye view of just a total panic going on. People in the streets just, there's a really, nasty little tidbit where this girl that's like in her like kind of like school clothes and her little book bag and everything.
What a shame.
And whoo,
kids get it
too. Her mom goes and she's like, "Oh, I'm so happy I found you. You're not gonna be happy for long, Mom."
It's like, you were looking at her, you knew something wasn't right.
You knew something
was
was
off. But you went and
off.
hooked her anyway, because I saw how you were looking at her. Like, I saw you see her,
Yeah.
like one
You'll
of those.
see.
Like,
so this film does a great job of really showing his kind of just descending into kind of despair and isolation, to the point of not really like wondering whether he even wants to survive anymore, and starting to do kind of reckless things.
I think this movie did a pretty good job at showing that like isolated person, like what would happen to a person like in a kind of complex building.
Yeah,
it all
when takes place in this kind of
out,
like this apartment and everything, and I was about to say cramped, but compared to New York apartments, it's actually quite spacious. But nonetheless, he's in an apartment building, that's slowly being taken over by zombies, and then he finally meets another survivor. There's a couple of times when you meet survivors, and some of them are less well-meaning than others, let's just say.
As it always is in these movies. It's like, there's a bunch of zombies. If we're smart about it, and we're quiet, and we band together, we can get really far.
Yes.
Nobody wants to think like that.
No, like, everybody's just obsessed with themselves.
It's just panic takes over, and that's it. And it's like, but you're going to die like 5 times quicker and probably 10 times more horribly.
Yeah, exactly. Because the zombies, if anybody's got numbers, it's the fucking zombies.
One of the tense things about this movie, I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand this about the movie, but it wasn't in a bad way. It was the way their doors were designed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. They had doors that opened out. So you can't barricade a door that opens out very well.
And these zombies retain some knowledge of being human and understanding how a door works and stuff. And
they retain a little bit of like what they were, and they kind of understand doorknobs, and it's like...
It's not good. It's not good. It's not good having them have any kind of
intelligence. Please don't make a noise when they're walking by. Bad. Please. I couldn't stand the design of that door. I'm like, no! Who made the door like this? Yeah. No!
Other notes about this movie, it's shot really well. The cinematography, the quality of it is quite good. It feels like something that, people really put some love into it, and some hard-earned dinero. And it looks great. And the zombies are really scary. Yeah, and the infection sets in pretty fast.
It does.
Pretty
Oh
fast.
man, yeah.
Once you're bit, it is quick. It is a quick transformation into a slobbering, horrifying beast, kind of like 28 Days Later-ish, kind of like Rage Zombie. You know, they are not really slow.
No, they're not that slow.
Which makes sense because they're recently
They're fresh.
deceased.
Yeah, they're fresh.
Kind
They're
of fresh
bodies, so
Yeah,
it makes
yeah.
sense that they're going to be quicker than like the slower ones that just
Yeah.
drag about.
Yeah, they haven't been decaying for very long. It's just
I'm like,
happened,
all right.
you know. Yeah, the struggle for survival is real. If you have been looking for a new zombie movie and you're not afraid of some subtitles, you know, you're gonna see some people making some good decisions and people making kind of dumb decisions, and but it makes sense within the story. I'm not upset about it. I feel like the lead character June is really you kind of feel for him. You really feel his pain.
You do.
You know, at first you think like, you know, oh, this kid is gonna, you know, this kid is dumb. He's gonna die pretty quick or something. You know what I mean? But he grows as a person. He really, you know, he sees the situation and, you know, he really turns things around for himself and also for
One thing
another
about
survivor
gamers,
that you'll see
we're
later on.
good at problem solving.
Yeah,
we're
the creative
always
problem
getting
solving
some
is
kind
good.
of puzzle tossed at us, and
He
I
starts
was
off
like,
right away with rationing his food, which is super smart.
Yep.
You know, he's
He
like,
lays
okay, I
everything
got
out.
this
He's
much
like,
out.
all right. He's taking note. I'm like,
Yeah.
you see, and then when he's starting to get low, and you know, then he ends up having he meets somebody across the way in another apartment building, and it's kind of cool how they show all of that and how they're starting to like get to know each other. It's very like quarantine life, like nowadays. Like if you're
And
single,
also the
if you're
idea-
meeting somebody, it's gonna kind of be like that. You know, it's very relatable.
It's also exactly how a gamer would handle certain things. Like,
Yeah.
You know, like he has like a little drone and he kind of like brings her stuff with the drone and stuff like that, and they kind of send messages to each other.
He's
with
scoping
these, like,
areas
little
out and stuff, and
walkie-talkies
I'm like,
stuff, and,
yep.
You know, it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. I feel like it's very believable for his character because you are already shown right from the beginning of the movie. This kid is a gamer. He's good with technology. You know, this, that, and the other. You know, so it makes sense. And you're like, all right, well, yes, this kind of kid, you know, in this kind of, you know, very good looking apartment would probably have enough money to have a drone, you know? So it just makes sense. And the way that he uses it makes sense in the movie.
Yeah.
It's not like cheesy or anything like that. You know, it just really breaks down in a pretty good way. I don't want to give any spoilers. So let's just go right to the grading process.
To the rating.
Out of 5 chainsaws, Thorn Black, how many chainsaws would you give this film?
I'm going to give this one a solid 4. It's a pretty good movie. It's pretty well done. I enjoyed it very much. To be like a 5, for me, this movie could have had, let's see, like a little bit more zombie fighting action. Like they do have zombie fighting action, don't get me wrong.
People get toe up.
Yeah, they do.
Let's just be real.
Somebody
They get
like
tore up.
in my zombie movies, I kind of like a lot. You know, like that remake of what was it? That remake with Mekhi Phifer in the mall with the not the Walking Dead.
Dawn of the Dead
thank
remake.
You.
Yes.
Oh goodness, yes, the Dawn of the
Yes,
Dead remake.
one of my favorite remakes.
That was one of my
actually.
favorite remakes. The
Yeah,
zombie scenes were
I really
crazy.
enjoyed
There was
that.
a lot of them. There, like the fights were like insane. You know, so. That's kind of how I prefer my zombie movies. It doesn't mean this one wasn't good, because I did really enjoy this. It was a different perspective.
Well,
They
yes,
went a different way about it.
Compared
it
to
was
a
really
super
good.
action-packed thing like that, this is definitely more of a slow burn. But I think it's done
It
in
is
a
a slower
really,
burn, but
I
it's
think
a
it's done
good
in a really
payoff,
good
I feel
way.
like.
Great actors, really scary monsters, really scary situations, really tense situations, and you know, as per usual, when it comes to a zombie story, sometimes the worst characters in a zombie story are not even the zombies. It's people. Just like in Dororo, which we covered in
Just
our last
like,
episode.
again.
If you haven't seen our last episode, just go back into our channel. Go check it out.
Go
What are you
check it
waiting
out.
for? What are you waiting for?
Because again, you know where you stand with the zombie.
Yeah.
There's no negotiating with a zombie.
Zombies just want to eat you.
expect it. People, it's like, come on. You know,
Yeah.
it's like not many of us
People
around,
get up
right?
to some nefarious stuff, and in this film, there
Yeah, they
is
do.
a scene where a certain character just, woo! I'm not gonna spoil it for you.
All right,
but
we've said enough.
We've said
We've
enough.
said enough.
Go
It's
check it out. It's
definitely
currently
worth checking
streaming
out.
on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
feel free to check
Good
it out
stuff.
and tell us what you think in the
Please
comments.
drop a comment if you've seen it already or if you're going to see it.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. We're curious.
Yeah, we want to know. So what's up next?
Moving on, our anime of the episode is Parasyte.
My favorite part. My favorite part. So Parasyte is not a new anime. And this has been covered a lot, but because it's an older anime, it's from 2014, I figured I would just give it a fresh look for all of you who might not have seen this
It's
anime.
just good.
It's based off of a manga, which I've also read, and I actually was super familiar with the manga, and I was totally insanely hyped when I saw that they were doing an anime adaptation. And there's actually also a live adaptation of it as well.
Ooh.
A live action adaptation of it. And the effects look pretty incredible.
That one.
Haven't seen it yet, but maybe we'll cover it in a future episode.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're right now talking about the anime, which is currently streaming on
it's streaming
Netflix.
on a lot, actually. It's on Netflix. I think it's on Crunchyroll and Hulu. I think it's pretty easy to find.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to find this one. I think actually on Netflix it's available in dub as well as sub for those of you who don't like subtitles. Right, yep. I prefer the subtitles, but it's up to you. Whatever makes you comfortable. So anyways.
The premise of this crazy anime, right? So this anime is crazy. So
let's just get into it.
These alien beings, they're like small, they're like parasites. They fall down from the sky. They infect people. They crawl, I believe, did they crawl into your ear? I don't remember exactly. They get into your body. They make their way to your brain. And then
they take you over.
Yes, they take you over, and then you're no longer in control. However, our one guy wakes up in the middle of the night when he sees something going on, and he was like, "What? What is that?"
And I think he was wearing headphones or something, and that's what saved him. You know, so
I think
it didn't actually get a chance.
I think he was wearing headphones when he slept, and then it like burrowed into his hand, and it was trying to make its way up his arm, and he saw it, and he's like, I don't know what's going on, but no. And he gets his belt and like tourniquets it, and he stops it from getting to his brain. It only has so long to get to your brain.
Yeah.
Then it had,
because then it starts to just kind of disperse a little bit. It only has a certain amount of motility as it infects you.
So it has to make home in his hand since it can't get to his brain. The time runs out. He thinks he's crazy. He wakes up the next morning, and an alien has infested his hand. It still looks like his normal hand until
it talks to him.
It talks to him, and it like grows a mouth and eyes, and like
it's super creepy.
It's crazy, and he's losing it. And so they're
for those of you who are fans of another older anime like Vampire Hunter D, where his hand is always like talking to him. Imagine that, but actually his hand will like, you know, be like up
it's like
this, and like just, you know, it has like a lot of mobility. It's almost like the hand from Vampire Hunter D combined with like, you know,
it's Vampire Hunter D hand on steroids. Like this thing
Adam's
is ridiculous.
Family, you know, like this thing is, but then it can also like grow weapons out of it.
Yeah,
and
it can
stuff.
change the shape of his hand. It can do whatever it wants. It can draw. It can grow like eyes so it can see what's going on. A mouth. It can like take his fingers and stretch them. It can turn them into knives. It's like it can just warp his hand into like whatever it wants. And its main objective is staying alive. It will not let him do anything. Like he wants to get rid of it. If he tries to cut it, it is like, I will blind you so you can't see your head. It's crazy. It's like, yo, you better make friends with this thing in your hand real quick because it's not going anywhere and he's not letting you get rid of him. You know,
really
it's
isn't.
like
He really isn't. So
and of course
he's in a very uncomfortable at first friendship with this parasite that has just totally taken over his
very
hand.
Reluctant relationship for quite a while. But
there's nothing he can do about it.
It's like
there's absolutely nothing he can do about it.
You may as well play along because you're stuck, buddy.
And what Thorn Black here might not have mentioned is that this alien existing inside of him draws other aliens. Other alien infected people will sense his energy.
True Highlander fashion.
Yes.
You know, it's like...
And only one can survive.
I'm like, why can there only be one? But, of course, that's how it is.
How
you know?
it is.
So
that's how it is.
He's getting in the most insane fights. These fights are crazy. I'm like, what is happening?
If you were ever curious what it would be like if Cronenberg and an anime like company, work together to create like the sickest, weirdest, most disgusting, brutal, body warping, horrifying fights that you could think of. That's Parasyte, and that's why you guys want to see it. I promise.
So, let's get down to the rating. What would you give this anime out of 5?
Out of 5 buzzing chainsaws, I would give Parasyte a 4.5.
I think I'm gonna up her a little bit. I think I'm gonna just give it a straight up 5.
Can I give a half a chainsaw doesn't really exist. All
They're,
right,
they're like mini chainsaws, so it's like you give it a little mini chainsaw. It's
yeah,
like
this one is like a little kid
yeah, you
chainsaw,
get the little
baby
mini one.
chainsaw.
It's like the mini one for juggling.
Maybe
you
like
know?
the one that you used to like kind of get the hedges and stuff. It's not the big real deal.
Yeah, the one you
chainsaw.
use to break world record when you're juggling. Like I think I'm just gonna give it a straight up 5, just for like originality. This thing is insane. It's off the wall. I didn't know what to expect from what he could do or what the guys that he fought was going to be like. It was just so out of hand. It's like, what is happening? But in the best way. It caught me off guard when I found it originally. It was just a really big, pleasant surprise. And this is something that I think I could watch the entire season again, So that's why I give it a 5. If I can watch the entire season again and it's that good, I'm going to give it a 5. And that's what I give it personally. So
the
5
only
for me,
reason
4.5
I don't give
for her.
it a full 5, as much as I love it, is that the ending bothers me. But I'm not going to go into detail on what that ending is. It does make absolute perfect sense. And it's actually, I guess, what most people would consider a happy ending. But for me, it's a little upsetting because
Well, you can't give away too much. You can't give away. Like,
I got attached to a certain character in the story.
Yeah,
I mean,
stuff happens. What are you going to do?
But anyway,
anime is in a happy world.
It's incredible. And actually, that's what I love about anime, is that it's not always a happy ending.
They'll take you for a ride.
Anime is not afraid
right?
to cover some deep, dark, creepy, scary, horrible stories. So I love that about anime, actually. And so it, like I said, it makes sense. It's a great anime. Absolutely check it out. Tell us what you think. And if you'd like to tell me what you think about the ending versus how I feel about the ending, feel free to send us a message. Don't put any spoilers in your comments.
Yes, please.
Let's keep these comments spoiler free. We're trying to do our best in these descriptions to share with you what we love about these films and these animes, but we don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Yeah, it might give you a little
so
something, but not
anything
too
away
much.
about the ending. Please. We will be watching you, all right? So, anyway.
We are the band Cut Like This. Our music is here on YouTube and on Spotify. Please go and check us out. Check out our music videos. I think they're pretty good. We directed them. We did them
Subscribe
ourselves.
to the channel so you don't miss the next video.
We're going to be putting videos out twice a week. Every
Wicked Wednesday.
Wicked Wednesday.
And Sinister Sunday.
That's right. Until then, we'll see you next time on the cutting room floor.